Am I the asshole for letting my pregnant coworker get in trouble? Throwaway account. I'll try to keep it all as brief as possible. English isn't my first language, so I apologize if there's any mistakes. I, female 24, work an office job. I have a coworker, Anne, female 28. Anne is currently pregnant, and is around 6 months pregnant. We have a dedicated break room where we go for lunch, as we aren't allowed to eat anything or drink anything except water bottles in the office because of the computers. We all have our own break schedules that are the same every day. Anne and I go to break together. Our lunch break is from 13:30 to 14:30. No one else is on this schedule, and take their breaks earlier or later. In the break room, there's a few chairs and a couple of couches. Over the past 2 weeks, Anne had started taking naps on one of the couches during her lunch break. I know it's not my business as to what she does on her break, she can do what she wants. Last Friday, Anne and I were taking our breaks as usual. I was listening to music on my headphones, and when it was around 14:30, I got up to go back to work. I didn't really pay attention to what Anne was doing. Everyone was confused and was saying, "Where's Anne?" By around 1500 because they needed her, and our boss went into the break room and Anne was still sleeping. Anne got a warning from our boss. Anne is now angry with me, because our breaks end at the same time, so I should have woken her up. She said I'm selfish and careless. A lot of our other coworkers are on Anne's side and agree. I told Anne if she can't wake up, she shouldn't sleep during her break. She said the baby makes her tired and accused me of calling her lazy and being insensitive. Edit to add on. When my break was ending, I was scrolling on my phone and listening to music. I have ADHD. When I do these things, I'm quite oblivious to my surroundings. I didn't not wake Anne up because of malice. If Anne had asked me to wake her up, I would have done so. Edit. At our workplace, we can't just leave our workstations. If I left to go look for Anne after getting back to work, I would have gotten in trouble. Our boss was already looking for Anne because some of our coworkers needed her for something. Edit. Anne doesn't normally set an alarm, she just dozes and knows when to wake up usually. Thank you for the awards. Not the asshole. She could have easily set an alarm or could have even simply asked you to wake her up when break is over. For real. What a fuck is this? She's pregnant, you should help her. Shit that everyone spouts off in situations where a pregnant demands someone else will do something for them. Well, she could have been an adult and set a goddamned alarm like everyone else who naps. Not the asshole. Agree. I'm not pregnant, I just don't sleep well and have anxiety, so tired is just the existence I live in. I nap on my work breaks sometimes. I have an alarm set whether I'm napping or not. Sounds like someone got butthurt that they got caught screwing up and wants to blame someone else. Being pregnant doesn't absolve you of the consequences of your actions. Technically not the asshole, I guess, because you're not obligated to wake her up, but dude, it would have been so easy and cost you literally nothing to do it. I think you've completely underestimated the value that comes from keeping good relationships with your coworkers. Work life is a whole lot easier when you have coworkers willing to cover for you if you're 10 minutes late or help you out when you're snowed under. You didn't have Anne's back, which is your choice to make, but in doing so you have virtually guaranteed that neither she or any of the others who see her side will do anything to help you. I agree with you on this. I think that what original poster did was unintentional. But if it was me, I would have just said that instead of, if you can't wake up you shouldn't sleep. Now her coworkers think she's the asshole, and all this drama could have been avoided. Not the asshole. It would be different if she asked you to wake her up first, but she didn't. Having a baby, being pregnant, isn't a free pass for placing your responsibilities on others. People just like playing victims. Not the asshole. Just because she's pregnant, the world doesn't has to watch out for her. She could have asked you if you would be so nice and wake her up before this happened. Or she should just set an alarm on her phone. She's an adult, she has no right to be mad with you. And if others agree with her, they can wake her up in the future. Selfish and careless? Geez. This entitlement. She got pregnant without you, she gets up in the morning without you, so she'll figure this out without you. And if others agree with her, they can wake her up in the future. Original poster said other people go on break before or after them, so there is at least a chance someone went in the break room and saw her sleeping after her break time was over and did nothing. Indeed, it feels a little bit like the other people in this workplace are just looking for someone to all get angry at, so they also don't have to deal with having a real confrontation with Anne. Someone else said on a recent post that it is far easier to all go after one reasonable person than to actually deal with the unreasonable one. Not the asshole. Wow, some serious entitlement here. Frankly, whether you knew if she was sleeping or not doesn't matter. It's her responsibility to make sure she's at her workstation when she's supposed to be. Why couldn't she set an alarm? Don't let others in the office bully you just because she's pregnant. Being pregnant doesn't excuse someone from being a jerk. Nor does it make others responsible for their actions. I honestly would be so uncomfortable waking a sleeping coworker up. In fact, I know I am, and I will not do it. Sleep is a very intimate state, and there's no way in hell I'm touching a coworker while they're sleeping to wake them up. Edit. Not the asshole. I don't even touch my coworkers while they're awake. Give us some brutal honesty. Original poster. Did you see her still asleep and decide not to wake her up, or did you truly not see her or wonder where she was when you left? To be blunt, I wasn't paying attention to my surroundings. I was listening to music and scrolling on my phone as I left the break room. Then you're fine. You're not her mom. How does that make it fine? She's not her mother if she did notice her sleeping coworker. If you can't be an adult and set an alarm, don't take naps. She's able to get herself up in the morning, and even if her SA wakes her, it should be obvious not to take naps at work if you need someone to wake. Exactly what I have been saying. She knew how long her break was, set an alarm. Lol. Not the asshole. It costs nothing to be kind. Hell, it costs nothing to set up an alarm. This is what I was going to say. However, Anne is 28. If you don't know how to set an alarm, you shouldn't be taking naps at work. However, I would have been nice for a one-time wake up. After that, you're on your own. Not the asshole. Anne should set an alarm or have specifically asked you to wake her. Anne should have set an alarm on her phone. Why should OP have the responsibility of waking her up? Original poster. Coworkers are ridiculous. Not the asshole. She doesn't have the responsibility of waking her up. If Anne asks her to do it, OP can say yes or no. There's no harm in asking. Not the asshole. Didn't realize you got demoted? To be an alarm clock. Not the asshole. Just because you have the same break does not make you responsible for her. She's a grown-ass woman, she can manage her time on her own, and set an alarm on her phone to make sure she's up once her break ends. I'm baffled how anyone thinks you are somehow at fault here, but in particular Anne. The only person she should be angry with is herself. Not the asshole. If she needed help, she could have asked you. Lots of people I work with nap on their lunch break, and they all manage to set an alarm on their phones and make it back to work on time. She's not automatically your responsibility just because you go on break at the same time. Not the asshole. I can understand how your last comment can be interpreted as a little bit insensitive, but regardless, it's not your job to wake up people from naps. If she takes naps regularly, she should know to set an alarm. Not the asshole. I see plenty of people saying that it was a small nice thing you could do. 1. Anne is an adult too. I'm assuming this is the first time this has happened to Anne. 3. It is not original poster's responsibility to parent an adult. This would honestly be an situation if Anne didn't try to shift blame. Shit happens. How was OP supposed to know she wasn't gonna wake up? Anne should not be expecting coworkers to be her impromptu parents. Alarm. Over the past 2 weeks, Anne had started taking naps. By this time she should know to set an alarm. It's her fault she slept too long. And her entitled reaction makes me feel even less sorry for her. Not the asshole. So why didn't the people who started their break at 14:30 say anything? Did no one else really go in the break room between 14:30 and 1500? You're not the asshole if you genuinely didn't notice. For all you know, she could have had permission for an extended break. Exactly. What if she had permission to sleep longer and you woke her up? Then she would have been pissed at you for waking her up and telling you she doesn't need someone treating her like a child.